How many were found, etc. And why we are studying Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha for fulfillment of life because Mahabharat
Is
Itihas
that
gives
live
us.
on Facebook, Prasad?
I already gone.
No, it is not showing.
अच्छा. It is telling you do not have permission to go live.
You will have to do the whole process one more time then.
Oh, अच्छा.
Let me see if I can do it. But no, I will.
You are doing or shall I try?
No, I don't have the option. I will come there. Down there, down there, down there, down there, so silent person. Now it will.
So for fulfillment of life, because we get all four Purusharthas here in Mahabharata. So let us prepare ourselves by sitting straight, head, neck, backbone straight. This is the best position for a spiritual sadhak, for any sadhana, Shravan, Manan, Nididhyasanam. Let us withdraw our mind from all that has happened in the past till this moment. That is gone, never to come back. Some people's mind go constantly in the past. Balance people, it goes in the future. And in the present, tensions and confusions, we drop and focus on our breath. One slow, deep, conscious breath. A still body, cheerful mind, clear intellect is constantly required for this journey, and that is our sadhana. Let us invoke God's grace and Guru Parampara's blessings. Without this grace, our efforts do not give the results. By chanting loudly together, Om. 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 Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sah Viryam Karvavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
गजाननं भूतगणादिसेवितं कपित्थजम्बोफलसारभक्षितम् उमासुतं शोकविनाशकारणं नमामि विघ्नेश्वर पादपङ्कजम् सरस्वती नमस्तुभ्यं वरदे कामरूपिणि विद्यारम्भं करिष्यामि सिद्धिर्भवतु मे सदा। अखण्डमण्डलाकारं व्याप्तं येन चराचरं तत्पदं दर्शितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुरेव परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। स्थावरं जङ्गमं व्याप्तं यत्किञ्चित् सचराचरं तत्पदं दर्शितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। चिन्मयं व्यापि यत्सर्वं त्रैलोक्यं सचराचरं तत्पदं दर्शितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। त्वमेव माता च पिता त्वमेव त्वमेव बन्धुश्च सखा त्वमेव त्वमेव विद्या द्रविणं त्वमेव त्वमेव सर्वं मम देवदेव। समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरम्। श्रीवेदव्यासाय नमः। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। हरि ओम।
Hari Om. Thank you, Manisha. So as we are reflecting on our own itihas, where we started with Shakuntala and Dushyant, and we came to know that Shakuntala is the mother of all of us, Kuru Moksha. And today we are on the last journey of the Pandavas, which is called Swargarohan. And those who have not read Mahabharat, they have this question that in spite of doing all these things, Duryodhan and team got Swarga and Pandavas got Narka. So we have to see what exactly happened in this scenario. So as we saw last Sunday that after Krishna and Balram gives up their bodies in Dwarka, the Yadava Kul in civil war is completely destroyed. And when Arjun comes back, Vedvyashi gives him a suggestion that now all your duties are over. Krishna's duty as avatar also over, your duties also are over. And when Pandavas discuss this, they decide that it's time to, go for the final adventure, final journey. This is very important. We normally do not think of preparing ourselves for the final journey because we have a long bucket list, one after another. So here it was very clear. So that is a learning because this portion is very symbolic of Swarga, Narka. So they prepare themselves and they make Parikshit as the king, who is a noble, courageous king. And we also saw in the last session that how Parikshit dies with the sharp and then he makes Janmejay as a king and then Janmejay rules and Kuru Vamsha rules for over 1100 years. In Valmiki Ramayana also we see that Surya Vamsha, ruled for thousands of years after Sri Ram, Laukush. Because after Sri Ram and Laukush, we do not know what happened. But these names are there. After this king who came, after this king who came. No, no, no. This is all mythology. That means if somebody says mythology, then we can also say that you are also mythology because you also don't know your great grandfather's father's name. But here all names are there. We do not know our. Some people might know their grandmother's mother's name also. No, no. I really have to think what is my grandmother's mother's name from both the sides, father sides and mother sides. I'm not very clear. And then here all the lineages are mentioned and still people think it is a mythology. So it is itihas. And we are looking from itihas point of view only, avoiding different tones of miracles or devotion or keeping Lord Krishna as Lord Ishwar only. We are looking from itihas point of view. So they start their journey which is called as the Mahaprasthana Swargarohan. And when they start, mysteriously a dog appears and starts accompanying them. And we all saw last time that that dog is Lord Yama himself because he wants to test his son Yudhishthir. Draupadi, Nakul, Sahadev, Arjun, Bhim fall one by one. They die in the journey. And others keep moving. And finally, Yudhishthir and the dog remains. And this is a test what his father gives. Indra comes to Yudhishthir and says, okay, you are qualified for going to Swarga along with this body itself. So he asks, what about my brother, sister? So no, they were not qualified. Only you are qualified. But there is a condition that this dog cannot come with you. Animals have no entry into Swarga because who will take care of them, their susu, pee, who will remove in Swarga? All those jobs are not there. So Yudhishthir refuses, says, I cannot abandon one who is devoted to me for this journey. So that is Dharmaraj. That is the greatness of Yudhishthir. And his father appears immediately and says, actually, I was the dog and this was your test. And now you are qualified for Swarga. So Indra and Dharmaraj disappear and they send a messenger and says, please take Yudhishthir to Swarga. So as he comes to the Swarga, to his utter shock, he sees first Duryodhan, Karna, Shakuni sitting there and he starts looking for Pandavas. He cannot see Pandavas. He asks, where is Draupadi? Where is Arjun? Where is Bhim? The messenger says, they are not here. They are at a different place. How come Duryodhan is here? That question comes. Is there in Mahabharat. So he says that I do not know, that you have to ask Dharmaraj only because he decides. Do you want to go to Swarga or do you want to meet your brothers and wife first, Draupadi? He says, no, I do not want Swarga. If they are not there, I do not want Swarga. Please take me to where they are. So the messenger starts taking him to where they are, and while he is going towards that direction, slowly the scenario changes. Suddenly from Swarga, it becomes dark, it becomes foul smell. Lot of voices are coming of torture, pain from everywhere. Bad smell is spread everywhere of, the body is burning. Lot of pain, lot of hurt. And he is wondering, where is he going? And then suddenly he hears Draupadi, Arjun, Bhim that we are here. And then he asks the messenger, where are they? He says, this is hell. How come they are in hell? And Duryodhan is in Swarga. The messenger says, that I do not know. That you have to discuss about the philosophy with your father. But I just came here to show you where your brothers and wife is. But your place is Swarga. Your place we have allocated, nominated in Swarga. He says, no, I do not want to go to Swarga. I want to be here where my brothers and Draupadi is there. That is a final test Yamraj, his father, takes. And in Mahabharata it is written, the moment he says this, suddenly there is a turnaround. And the hell disappears, the Pandavas disappear from there. So this is all very symbolic, not mysterious. We will see the final portion of Mahabharata before it completes. It gives a lot of insight on dharma and karma. So suddenly it disappears. And now the messenger says that now I will take you to Swarga, where you are there and there you will find everyone. But before that, I want to clarify the matter that how Duryodhan got Narka and how Pandavas got Narka. Swarga, Duryodhan got Swarga. And why you are giving me Swarga and why you brought me here, where I went through for brief time a very bad experience. So now the question many people ask without reading that why, after all this Duryodhan got Swarga and Pandavas got Naraka. What is the point in following morality, ethics, dharma? So the answer is this. Duryodhan got Swarga for a very brief period of time. Very, very brief. Swarga. Why? Because Duryodhan was a Kshatriya warrior and he died in the battlefield. Whoever dies in the battlefield gets Swarga for brief time because they have fought that war. And after exhausting whatever little merits he had acquired by giving some dana or doing some kind of thing, he went into Naraka for long time. So that must be very clear. So this myth must be destroyed, where many people have asked me also that how come Kauravas they only got for brief time. And Pandavas were in the hell for only very, very brief time because some mistakes would have happened. And even Yudhishthir didn't go to hell, but he got experience of hell by seeing that. So that was his papa. And then for long time, Swarga. Now here we have to understand that this is where we mentioned last time that those who wrote Mahabharat commentaries later on, if you are a Vedantin, then Swarga Narka is not your destination. Moksha is the destination. Those who are not Vedantis, if they have written from devotion point of view, from Karmakand point of view, this was a completion for them. So then the versions differ, what they have written. So then Yudhishthir inquires that I want to know this secret. And there is a lot of discussion on karma in the last portion of the Mahabharata. So what is there? Briefly, we will see the highlights. What are the highlights of karma? Because this question has to be answered technically. So laws of karmas are, now we have to listen carefully. This comes in Bhagavad Gita also. And now Mahabharata concludes with this. Laws of karmas are very precise, impartial and universal. Point number one. Point number two, every karma bears its precise fruit. It will give us a fruit. What is a fundamental law? No deed, good or bad, is ever lost. Even though we don't see drushta phala, because there are two phalas we get, drushta and adrushta. No, I did so much dana, I went to temple, I did so many pujas, but then, why this particular sickness happened? That is happened to the body because of the past. But this karma, what I have done, maybe I have not suffered much. We don't see how people are suffering with poverty, with no money, and when they fall sick, you can just check what happens to them. It's a hell of experience. Those people who do not have any money, if you fall sick and no relatives are there in the entire family, people throw you out because they cannot afford you. So many mother, father, grandfather, grandmothers are beaten by their children because they are all frustrated what to do. No money. Now, very important point is that what is karma? It is not action. Action is a very poor translation of karma. Karma is a very pregnant word which has three areas. So when we say karma yoga, we have to first of all understand what is karma only. So karma is equal to action at body, mind, intellect level. Point number one. Even our thinking, feeling is our own karma. As Swami Advayananji says, that any time when we experience agitation in mind, disturbance in mind, anger in mind, delusion in mind, confusion in mind, this is our past papa coming in our mind as confusion, delusion, anger, fear. We have to be very clear, very, very important point. And we have to overcome it rather than justifying the anger and fear. So action at body, mind, intellect. Some people think karma means only action at body level. No. Even I am just sitting at home alone and thinking, it is an action. If I am feeling, it is an action. Plus the motive. What is the motive? That is very important. As Gurudev's example, two people use knife to cut the stomach, but one is a doctor, one is a soldier. Soldier kills hundreds of people in the war front, but that soldier will not be subjected to karma laws because he is fighting on behalf of his country. And that behalf is very important. And the third part is doership. These three is equal to karma. If I have no doership, there is no karma law applicable. Like when you go to somebody's place and to greet, meet, celebrate that person because that person has got a small child, newborn baby, and you take that newborn baby, ulu, la la lulu, and then newborn baby do shishi on your new sari or shirt. No, that is okay. But that is okay if you don't want to go to an interview or a marriage ceremony immediately after that and you have no changeover. What will you do? So that is your karma, but that child has no doership. So karma means action at body. That's the reason it is very easy to understand God, Brahma, Maya, but very difficult to understand what I should do. What is my karma and what is my dharma? What is my duty? So Mahabharat ends with this. So karma means action at body, mind, intellect. Motive. What is the motive of doing the action? And doership. Three together. So it's not very easy to understand. And there are two results, drushta and adrushta. Now, very important, when we say good and bad karma, there are two types of karmas, good and bad. Good karma do not nullify bad karma. Important, very, very important point. No, but I did so many, but I would have done one bad karma. I would have thought bad about somebody. That karma will come back. Maybe I do not know, but with my word, somebody would have felt hurt. No, but I do not know. I just said just like that. Please do not mind. But other person has felt bad. So many people, we see that they have the source of generation of money is illegal, and then they put lot of temple and then Ganpati celebration. This will not nullify that. This will give its own punya, that will give its own negative effect. The Mahabharata explains that every human being accumulates both merit and demerit, punya and papa. That is what is very important in the last symbolic part, which is not very much understood, not very much known. Why? Because person may not have studied Karma Yoga Bhagavad Gita in detail. A person is not judged by Chitragupta by one single act, but by the totality of the karma. That's the reason they say that there is a book and it is very precise. There are no errors. So when we understand this, the first thing what happens in life is there is complaint drops, criticism drops, because we understand that it is our own karma coming to me. No, but this person never drank anything, no, didn't had any bad habits, never went out, always was a pious person, but he got cancer, but he got diabetes. You know how is the answer. Some past karmas are coming and Bhagavan has hundreds ways to give us those karmas in some kind of results. And as Gurudev mentions, heaven and hell are not eternal destinations. They are places where one experiences the results of accumulated karma. Here only in our mind. Suppose you don't believe in Swarga and Narka, then whenever we are confused, angry, fearful, deluded, that is a Narka we are going through. And whenever we are peaceful, clear, cheerful, we are going through Swarga. When merit gets exhausted, heavenly enjoyment ends. When Papa gets exhausted, suffering ends instantly. We don't have to do anything. So now we have answered why Duryodhan got for brief period and then he was for long period for whatever actions he did in the Narka. So we come back to our story. Because story is not yet complete. So on advice of Indra and Dharmaraj, now Yudhishthir says that okay, we are going to take you to Swarga. Please be ready. And he gives up his earthly body and takes plunge into the celestial river and reaches Swarga. Now, very important point. When we have a dream body. In that dream body goes to UK, America, Canada, Mathiran, Mahabaleshwar, and when we get up, we are on the bed only. No, but that experience we had, no. So that was a different body. So in Swarga, we get a different body, not this physical body. Some Mahabharata version says that Yudhishthir was the only person who got Swarga with human body. Why? Because earthly body is subject to 6 modifications. It is born, it exists, it is born, it grows, it matures, decay, death. In Swarga, everybody is 25-year-old, full healthy, all money, all time, only pleasure, enjoy. One doesn't get old. There is no hospital. There is no doctor. Only pleasure and enjoyment. And when he gets into Swarga, no, I am not muted. Sundaram is asking. I hope all of Neetaji, am I audible? Yeah. You are able to hear me, right? Yes. Manisha, can you see? Sundaram is saying no sound, but I think everyone else is having sound. So when Yudhishthir gets into Swarga, finally, he is looking first for Draupadi and Pandavas, and then he sees Pandavas are already there, but in divine beings as Devas. So Devas had come in the form of Pandavas. Then he sees Draupadi radiating in celestial form. And then all war heroes whom he had fought, they were beyond any earthly limitations with different forms. They had celestial forms and the division is dissolved. So that is a Vedantic vision of oneness. And he keeps looking for everyone who had fought the war with him. And then when he is looking, he is still not satisfied. As when I was reading this portion, I was also waiting that when he is going to describe about Krishna. And then he looks beyond that, where is Krishna? And sees Krishna not as a cousin, but Narayana himself, lustrous and splendid. And then he sees that there is some light which is permeating and pervading all over Swarga, and infinite light. And that light of divine aura is enveloping everything which is emanating from Narayana himself, which he saw Krishna as Narayana, beyond cosmic principle. And the last line of the Mahabharata text is Yato dharmas tato jayah. What is the last sentence of Mahabharata? Yato dharmas tato jayah. Where there is dharma, there is victory. So that is a completion of Mahabharata story, where Yudhishthir gets Swarga and he meets all, and then his division dissolves, that I am Yudhishthir, you are different, we are Pandavas, these are Kauravas, and then he sees Krishna as Narayana himself, Brahman. So very important point. Now, Mahabharata doesn't end with victory, that we must now remember. It ends with transcendence. It ends with our own self-realization. The dissolution of human identities and roles get dissolved. That is very highly emphasized in the last portion of what Yudhishthir sees. Because it is written in Mahabharata in the last portion that when he goes to Swarga, all limitations dissolved, all divisions dissolved, all separation dissolved, and he was not able to see that, okay, these are Kauravas who fought, these were Pandavas, all heroes were there. Seeing beings in their true essential nature. That is a completion of Mahabharat story as Ved Vyas is written. So what is the last sentence of Mahabharat? Yato dharmas tato jaya. And what is that jaya? Jaya is transcending one's own limitations and separations. So what is the overall summary of Mahabharat? The Mahabharat is not about the war, who won the war. Very important point. It is about very, very important point to note down. It is not about war and who won the war. It is about what remains after the war. I will repeat it once more. Mahabharata is more about what remains after the war. Kings come and kings go, warriors fight, heroes fade away, so much of wealth. And this history, that geography, that is okay. But what remains and what should remain, what is important point of Mahabharata highlighted is dharma. After the war, what prevailed, what remained is dharma, not looting of the place where we, have won, and then raping the women there and converting them and destroying whatever is existing in their culture. No, that is not the purpose of war. Here, what is very clear is that Mahabharata is not about war and who won the war, but what remains after the war. And what remained after war for thousands of years is dharma. And that is yada yada hi dharmasya, why Krishna had come to establish. Dharma determines the ultimate destination of ours, not how many experiences we had, how many failures we have, and how much success we have. Finally, what will determine the journey of human birth is what is the dharma. As recently Swami Swatmananji was mentioning, the life journey is between one drop of water to one pinch of ash. Finally, we are going to become one pinch of ash. And what will remain and what will go will be what dharma we have followed to the next birth, to the next birth. So the epic begins with a dispute over the kingdom but ends with a quest for our self. What is our true nature? So we had given The title, if you remember, what is the title what we had given? Mahabharat, a journey from Moha to Moksha. So now we understand why that title we had given, a journey from Moha to Moksha. So now here the outer Mahabharat is complete. What Ved Vyasji had given. What Ved Vyasji had mentioned. Because as there are different versions of Mahabharat, we stuck to history portion only and had a reflection on the history part. But now exploring the inner Mahabharat, that is over 5,500 years back. So now very important for us, what are the learnings from Mahabharat? Every human being carries Pandavas and Kauravas within. That is the first learning. We have good noble thoughts, we have ignoble thoughts also. Everyone has a Bhishma, Yudhishthir, Arjun, Bhima in us. Everyone has Kunti, Gandhari, Draupadi in us. Now we must be able to introspect, like Gurudev mentions. Introspect that which character is within me, which is more prominent. Everyone has Duryodhan, Karna, Shakuni, Dhritarashtra and Vidur in us. You know, we see some people talking lots of good philosophies, advices, but when time comes, they fail. Whenever there is a fight between mother-in-law and wife, what will the husband do? That is Bhishma Pitama. Cannot say anything either of the side. No, Bhishma Pitama should have said this, but then those who have gone through this, they know. Both sides are there. Whose side will you take? So we have to go and reflect about each character and we will see what are the learnings from each character. And the possibility of awakening the Krishna in us, because there is a Krishna also, Krishna consciousness in us. Finally, when we introspect on this character, that is not our journey. Our culmination must be on awakening that Krishna in us and reaching that Krishna consciousness wisdom. The real war is not against external enemies, but inner foes like ignorance, attachment, delusion, desire, anger, greed. These are all internal things. And what these characters represents, that is very important at the end of the journey. When we listen to the story, when we hear the Mahabharat, we must see what are the learnings from each character. So Yudhishthir, no, Yudhishthir, some people without reading Mahabharat, he was one of the greatest characters of Mahabharat. He made mistakes, especially in the dice game. But what was his greatness? Integrity under pressure. He was always a rule book person. He knew the dharma and followed the dharma and saved Pandavas many times. Never stopped returning to truth and responsibility and followed the moral path. And that's the reason the Yudhishthir's greatness we cannot deny just by one mistake what he did. Because throughout Mahabharata, Yudhishthir's greatness comes out very strongly. He stayed anchored in dharma, whatever the outside situation was. That is a learning from Yudhishthir. Outside situations may change, but I must be anchored in dharma. For that, I must understand what is dharma. For that, I must listen and understand and reflect on Gita and Upanishads and this Mahabharata. Then we understand very clearly when we have earlier heard the Vedanta and understood it. Bhima and Duryodhan both had power, but power must be used to protect the dharma. I like that distinction very much, that what is adharma and what is dharma. When the mighty exploits the meek, it is adharma. Those who have power, those who have all the areas where they can work, when they use that power to exploit who cannot do anything, that is adharma. So Bhima used his power And Arjun and Yudhishthir channelized his power for dharma. And that's the reason Bhima becomes an interesting character here. The only difference between Bhima and Duryodhana is that their power got channelized in a different way. Arjun, our main hero of Bhagavad Gita, but Mahabharat, there are many, many characters. Greatest warrior, very sincere, always followed dharma, but great learning from Arjun is even the greatest warrior can get confused about dharma, what is to be done, what is my duty. And what is to be done, what Arjun did, we must do it and we must remember, because I have heard from Swami Advainanji that this is a very, very important verse in Bhagavad Gita. One of the important verse where transformation happens. Karpanya dosho pahata swabhava pruchhami tvam dharma sambhuda chetaha yachreyasyanni nishchitam bruhi tanme shishyasteham shadimam tvam prapannam. This is the transformation of Arjun. That my very nature is overpowered by weakness and pity. So first of all, I must be acknowledging myself that what I am going through. No, I am very happy. No, I understand everything. No, I am very clear. Then why will I have sorrow and suffering? So first of all, I must acknowledge and accept my condition very clearly. My mind is confused regarding dharma, he says. And many of us believe that, no, I am very clear. I have heard Bhagavad Gita, few Upanishads. I know everything. But then it is not shown when the situation comes to small situations disturbs us. Now he asks the right person, tell me decisively what is truly good for me. And I am your disciple, he says. Shishyasteham, I am your disciple. And please instruct me because I have surrendered to you. So now very important, the three A's we must remember. Acknowledgement of our own feelings and confusions. Feelings, acceptance of confusion that I am confused, and asking the right coach. And then he followed up with the right action. So that is a learning from Arjun. They say that first be Arjun and then try to become Krishna. Draupadi, very, very interesting, important character, central character in the Mahabharata. Draupadi endured lot of humiliation, but she didn't make a story out of it. Always didn't share about that humiliation. And in that humiliation also, she retained her courage, common sense, intelligent, moral force. And she asked the right questions to the audience. Never got disturbed in that humiliated situation when Dushasan was pulling her hair and she was brought down. And she always walked with dignity and grace and kept the inner fire, even though she had gone through the suffering, humiliation many times. So that is a learning from Draupadi. Otherwise, many people who get hurt and get humiliated, they only keep sharing their story that I am a victim, I am a victim, I am a victim, but don't do anything and do not walk with dignity and grace. Karna, that actually Karna was one of the great warriors, lot of talent, but Karna's tragedy was attachment to the wrong side out of gratitude and resentment towards Arjun. He was a Dani, talented, good, excellent warrior, but then he is on the wrong side of the dharma. Bhishma, very, 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 very important. A noble vow can become harmful if followed mechanically without common sense. Bhishma's silence during Draupadi's humiliation, Vastraharan, became one of the epic's deepest moral questions which will be asked all the time, that why Bhishma kept quiet when Draupadi Vastraharan was going on. He will not be excused for it. Because dharma is more important or my vow is more important. No, I will. Somebody said something in Chinmay Mission to me. I will never go to Chinmay Mission. I taken a vow. It is not dharma. No, that person didn't say thank you to me where I worked. I went to serve in some project, but nobody said thank you to me in the last, Thanksgiving. So I will never work in any project, in any CSR project here. So my vow versus what is dharma? Dronacharya, even the greatest teacher can fall for status and attachment because his attachment was towards his son, Ashwatthama, and his status and his war with Drupada. And Vidur, courage to speak truth fearlessly. He always was on the side of Dhritarashtra, but never hesitated even one word here and there that he is my king. He always spoke fearlessly and gave fearless advices to both Dhritarashtra and Duryodhan. They heard or no, followed or no, that is their prarabdha. But he was fearless prime minister in the Hastinapur. Very, very central character of the entire Mahabharat, and the Vidura Niti, we saw the highlights about his intelligence. Kunti. Kunti's famous prayer was what? That give me more suffering, more adversity. Because in that suffering, I remember you, Lord Krishna. Very few people have that courage to ask for suffering and sorrow. So Kunti had maximum sufferings in the entire Mahabharata. Only brief periods she enjoyed, but she always asked for divine remembrance in those adversity. So she converted the problem into an opportunity. Gandhari, that love without discrimination can bring to destruction. Blind loyalty can destroy the entire Kuru Vansha. She was compassionate, she was learned, but then maybe more scolding for Arjun, how she gave samskar to Arjun. Shakuni, Duryodhana. Duryodhan had all born with a golden spoon, diamond spoon in the mouth. He had the power, he had the Rajya, he had very good Senapati Bhishma to protect. Only problem with Duryodhan, very important to note, in Ramayana it was arrogance of Ravan more highlighted. Here Duryodhan's envy towards Arjun destroyed him and the entire Kuru Vamsha. What Duryodhan didn't have. Suppose he would have given 5 villages. Suppose he would have given Indraprastha, both would have ruled. But envy, and with envy created the arrogance. Shakuni, highly intelligent. So we have so many characters here right now that Harshan Mehta, Lalit Modi, maybe they would have done some mistakes or some wrong things, but high intelligence. But that high intelligence, when used for some manipulation, becomes destructive. So if they are converted into dharma, then this high intelligence and give us excellent results. And one of the character because of whom the war happened, the blind king Dhritarashtra. Blind attachment to his own son. Blind attachment leading to non-righteousness. If we actually study the character of Dhritarashtra in Mahabharata, he is not evil like Duryodhan. He is not cruel by nature. He mostly knew what was right and what was wrong because he has heard discourses from Vidur, Bhishma, Krishna, Gandhari. But very important point, that even though I know what is right, if I don't follow dharma, it will lead to destruction. Knowing dharma is not enough. A king or a leader must have the courage to act on it. And what was his greatest problem? Mindness. How do we know? First verse of Bhagavad Gita. Dharma kshetre kurukshetre samaveta yuyutsava. What is the next word is the most important because of which Mahabharat happened. Mamaka Pandavas Shaiva. Tell me what is happening to my children and Pandu's children. That is where the whole separation seed is there. And finally, our great loving character, but now we will only look from history point of view. Lord Krishna. Only history point of view. We are only going to see the actions because we are discussing history. We are not discussing philosophy of Krishna here. That is in the Bhagavad Gita. When we see history, we must see the actions. What happened? Where it happened? How it happened? So what is main learning from Krishna? Very, very, very important, which he gives in Bhagavad Gita also. That Krishna, being a Lord, being an avatar, being a Bhagwan himself, participated completely in life, politics, war, friendship, guided Arjun, loved, married, took strategic diplomatic decision, and yet inside he was unattached. Act fully, remain inwardly free. Yogastha kuru karmani. That is where the main message of Bhagavad of Lord Krishna, that you be there, involved but not entangled. Inside there must be freedom. Outside you, people might see only your actions. Established in inner balance and perform action. Perform your duty wholeheartedly. Krishna did his duty towards all, but never attached. Let go ego and do not say that I did this. Chitrajnam chapi mam vidhi sarva kshetreshu bharas. I am the doer in all. And live intelligently, act courageously, remain detached, and stand firmly on dharma, what Krishna did. Every time he selected dharma over whatever is the situation. And realize highest possibility of human life in this birth. And what is that? To realize and recognize that my nature is, real nature is Satchid Ananda, pure existence, consciousness, infinite bliss, and not body, mind, intellect. So here we will stop today, and there I thought today it will be completed, but 2, 3, 4, there are almost 7, 8 slides remaining, which are very important on seeing the history of Mahabharat history we saw, but history of Mahabharat text, where Ved Vyasji told to Ganeshji 5,500 years back, how it has reached here when the printing press started, how the oral tradition and how many versions are there, and why we must be careful when we listen to Mahabharat anywhere else. Because there is no original document available. So we have to have lot of combinations with historical evidence what we are talking about. So that history of Mahabharat text we will see next time. But I want to announce today that from tomorrow we are doing a Upanishad which Gurudev took first when he came to Pune, that is Kenopanishad. I have already sent the flyer and the link. My request to you is that please do not only attend yourself. At least try sending individually to 5 people. Talk to at least 3 to 4 people and invite. And Kenopanishad is a very subtle, advanced Upanishad. You will see that there are less attributes given of Brahman and consciousness, but it talks about how do we know things. Very, very subtle topic. So our responsibility, duty is to get this knowledge to maximum people for maximum time and make them free in themselves by this knowledge. So please do not only attend tomorrow, but send to all your groups, whichever groups you have, and at least send to 5, 7, 10, 15 people individually and maybe talk to few of them. It will be Monday, every Monday from 7 to 7:45. And this time what we are going to do is that there will be a discussion session online on Thursday or Friday, whichever days you select, because these topics are subtle. And there will be a group discussion which will be regulated by one Sevak. And there are certain topics which I am not going to take because those are initial topics of the Upanishads. So there will be discussions. Manan is something Swatmananji says that we have to start propagating more in Chinmaya Mission sadhaks who attend advanced texts, because they only do Shravan of one text to another text to another text. 5577 text they are listening every day, every week, and Manan is not happening. Manan is discussion, explaining. So that we are going to start in this, from this Upanishad, which I was not doing earlier, only session and next session. So please pass on. I will send the details again today after this. And next Sunday, we will conclude the Mahabharat text. Very, very interesting how it is reaching and why we must be careful on which versions we are reading. That is very important. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. Thank you very much.